Do you like on-rail shooters like House of the Dead and the Resident Evil shooting games on the Nintendo Wii? Well, guess what? You're just in luck, because there is this real fucking random game called Beast Busters. Yeah, it was actually developed by SNK, an on-rail shooting game that's filled to the brim with tons of gore in all of its 16-bit glory. Well, it just so happens that I decided I was going to sit down and play this on a MAME emulator, and it kicked tons of ass. So you know what that means? Gotta review this! Beast Busters was developed by SNK and released in 1989 into the arcades. Then it was ported over to the Atari ST and the Commodore Amiga in 1990 by Activision. The game's graphics are awesome. Seriously, it's all in its 16-bit gory little goodness. All the sprites just burst with color. It's extremely awesome. The attention to detail when you're blowing enemies apart, blowing up random things in the background, morphing bosses is all extremely kick-ass and very satisfying to see. You take control of 3 militiamen who, judging by their names, should probably hang out with the Justice Friends and circle jerk with major glory. Honestly, I just kinda hope that I did not feel some kind of weirdo Rule 34 by saying that. I can honestly see it happening. Well, all shitty names aside, you can pick one of these dudes and basically go tearing through one of the 7 sections, unloading bullets into endless waves of enemies who have a hankering for lead. The main thing you'll be popping bullets into is zombies. Tons and tons and tons of zombies. Now, these aren't your typical slow-walking, want-to-turn your insides into a Happy Meal kind of zombies. No, 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 no. These zombies are packing heat. Yep, every single one of these motherfuckers, as soon as they became zombified, their thirst could only be quenched by pounding bullets into everyone else that's still alive. Pretty much, if you lose your pulse in the world of Beast Busters, you automatically get platinum status in the NRA and a lifetime supply of ammo. Now, not all of them will shoot you. Some have grenades and Molotovs as well. Because, you know, fuck it, why not? Blowing shit up or lighting it on fire is just as fun as shooting it, right? Some other zombies will lob knives at you, because, you know, running up and shanking somebody or stabbing them in the face, seriously, when you're undead is just way too much fucking work. Others decide to drive around in their cars or their motorcycles. They seriously look like they're joyriding, not even giving 2 shits that you're shooting the fuck out of all their brain-gobbling friends. They're just like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, oh hey, look over there, oh shit, I'm dead! Yeah, it just kinda sucks for them. The few zombies that you encounter that have no weapons on them literally will come running up to the screen without a care in the world and ready to fuck your day up. That's when you kindly redirect them to the nearest exit with the end of your gun barrel and tell them to fuck off for just being silly. Besides all the zombies armed to the teeth, there's also man's best friend, the zombie dog. Now, when I think of zombie dogs, I think of the Cerberus dogs from Resident Evil. Annoying little shits. Well, those dogs are not nearly as annoying, but are harder to hit than your average zombie, since these dogs are faster and jump all over the fucking place, as if the owners stuffed PCP into the elbow. At the end of each stage, you'll come to a boss fight, naturally, and have to whoop the shit out of them like everybody else before it. But this game has some really random shit for bosses, such as... We got a punk rock dude that suddenly has a really bad bowel movement and transforms into a golden Cerberus dog and starts shooting huge wads of what looks like a ball of melted cheese at you. I'm dead fucking serious. He transformed into a golden dog and shoots globs of cheese. I mean, what the fuck else is it? Then we have Jason Voorhees cosplayers that decide to go with Uzis in place of the awesome-tastic machete that Jason normally runs around with. And you know what else? They said fuck it to clothes. I mean, why have clothes when they could be running around in wrestling trunks and little black slippers? Oh, and their mask. They do have their mask still. Also, did I mention the fact that they're blue? I mean, really blue, like a Smurf's fucking taint blue. One such boss happens to be a big mass of zombies, and it looks like a terrible undead zero-gravity orgy, or some kind of morbid game of Twister that some asshole decided to place crazy glue all over the place without anybody knowing it. Also, there's a little random eyeball in the center, probably unhappy as shit, and it smells like fuck, so it just wants to get out of there, and it's like, please, for the love of God, just kill everything around me. End my misery. Then we have a mad scientist holding some bitch with a shitty dress hostage, and after taking enough shots, he eventually turns into a gigantic penis monster with arms and legs. But yeah, he's basically a giant penis that does some crazy dance till you kill the shit out of him for being a crazy giant penis with arms and legs and for dancing and being a giant penis. The most random though is probably this Jeep. Yep, this Jeep that looks like it seriously crawled straight out of fucking Twisted Metal, but is in actuality a gigantic monster. Yeah, just keep on pumping bullet after bullet into it, and eventually you expose that its grill is its teeth, the headlights are its eyeballs, the tires on it are its little monster hands, and I'm going to assume the tailpipe on it is its butthole. Though we cannot confirm this, but still I've got a hunch that it is his butthole. He just goes apeshit and starts shooting a frenzy of rockets at you. Imagine a cyber demon from Doom, but it decided that it was going to go fuck a Jeep 4x4. My god. My god, that's a sight. The final boss in the game is basically a dude chilling in his tentacle rape thinking chair of tentacle rapiness. Then he's got eyeballs poking out all over the fucking place just for shits and giggles. Though if you shoot the poor bastard too much, he gets real bad gas, pops like a zit, and turns into some kind of eyeball lodged into a fucking brain and floats about all pissed off. Naturally, shooting rockets, because that's what floating brains do, obviously. They shoot rockets everywhere, constantly. One of the best things is in Section 4. Right before you start the stage, it says, "It's safer near the river. Let's go!" All enthusiastically. Then, as soon as you start the stage, this son of a bitch of a stage, you have all these fucking enemies. You're literally getting bombarded with zombies shooting the shit out of you. You have zombies doing drive-bys on a boat, piranha fish just jumping out of the water ready to fuck your face in half. It's like, seriously? Safe? Safer by the river? Right. Safe, you say. You lying sack of fuck. The music in the game is pretty cool too. The music has a real groovy feel to it, from the guitar and drums to its more haunting parts, matching the game's theme overall. It's hard to hear from the constant shooting and explosions and everything, but if you do get a chance, you should go check the soundtrack out, because it's honestly really worth at least giving it a listen to. Now, Level 7 probably has the most evil sounding music of all the tracks. I really like that one the most. But Level 4 and 6, they remind me of Castlevania quite a bit in some ways, so I like them for that alone. Sadly though, the console ports, they lacked music in stages and were really boring. Like, if you play through them, it's extremely bland without music. Hell, they have like half the sound effects on top of that, so it's just like a real quiet game. And you'd be surprised, take away most of the sound of music makes the game really lame. In between each stage, there are story sequences that pretty much move the story along from stage to stage, telling you what's happening and why it's happening. Granted, it's very little story, but the fact that it's there is kind of nice, so you're not just pretty much dropped down into something, shooting stuff with no real reason, and that's the end of the game. This actually gives you, you know, characters and some story, some motive, etc, etc. For an arcade shooter, it's kind of nice that they included that. I just really wish that this had like the bad voice acting of the original House of the Dead games, because I remember those games fondly just for that alone. Now, Beastbusters is an amazing game. It really is. It's harder than hell though, so you're pretty much going to want to pump in quarter after quarter after quarter, assuming you're playing the actual arcade unit, which if you are, that's really awesome, because I've never even seen one, and it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of them made. But I ended up playing on MAME, and naturally I just put in quarter after quarter after quarter for the credits and everything, so I wouldn't die. But it was a really hard game. Like, they just send wave after wave of enemy at you. So if you want something that's rather challenging, this pretty much is a game to have on it. Now, besides the basic Beastbusters game that I'm reviewing right now, there's actually 2 sequels to it. The first sequel that came out is Beastbusters Second Nightmare. Now, Second Nightmare was originally developed for the Neo Geo 64 arcade unit, which essentially ends up looking like House of the Dead 2 for Dreamcast. The game looks really nice graphically, and is a hell of a lot more detailed than the original, naturally, because, I mean, that was 16-bit sprites and everything. I haven't gotten to play that one yet because I haven't gotten the actual MAME ROM to work just yet, but when I do, I'll probably end up doing a review of that. That one, as opposed to the original Beastbusters, is actually only 2 players this time around, whereas the original Beastbusters game that I'm reviewing is a 3-player game. Granted, you can play it as 1 player, but it's just kind of nice that they allowed for 2 extra people to play at the same time. It would probably make the game a ton easier, too, for anybody that's going through with 2 extra buddies. Now, the other sequel just so happens to come in the form of an RPG. And you wouldn't think that because, I mean, these are on-rails shooters. I mean, who would see that going and being adapted into an RPG? Like, if they announced a Resident Evil RPG or, I don't know, a House of Dead RPG, oh man. my smile seriously would tear my face. It would be great. I'd end up having like a Joker style grin. But it would be really awesome. But anyways, the Neo Geo Pocket Color was the home to this RPG, which was called Dark Arms Beastbusters. Now, this ends up carrying the story along from the original Beastbusters game, so this is kind of in between Beastbusters 1 and Beastbusters 2 Second Nightmare. It's just kind of interesting that they decided that they were going to do it. The only thing is, from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like any of the characters that were in the original Beastbusters are in this, but still, it's pretty cool that they decided that they're going to go with a horror-themed RPG on a little handheld, no less. So that kicks tons of ass. Overall, Beastbusters is a fucking blast. No pun intended. It's a blast. No, it really is. It kicks tons of ass. I mean, the very minute that I got to see one of the ads and flyers for it, I was just like, huh, what's this? Went and checked out videos of it and checked out some pictures of it. I was like, dude, I have to play this. And went through, and I've played the game probably about 4 or 5 times now and just loved every single second of it because it's a really, really fun game. Like, you know, anytime that you get an on-rail shooter, I'm pretty much excited about playing it because those are some of the things I always went for immediately when I go into an arcade. It's one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of the House of Dead series was because it was like a horror-themed game and I just got to shoot the shit out of things with guns. Well, that's great. This has machine guns and they're attached at it and you just gun everything down. That is awesome. I love that to death. But really, you should go and check it out. Just go download it somewhere. Or if you know an arcade that actually has this, which if you do, that's pretty damn awesome. Seriously. I would like to be able to see the actual arcade unit. Or even the Second Nightmare arcade unit. Either way. But anybody who sees it, download it, enjoy the shit out of it. It is well worth playing. If I'm going to end up giving this some kind of numerical score to say how awesome it is, I'm going to give it an 8.5. It really is that good. It has pretty good music, good graphics. I mean, the control is, you know, it's a mouse pad, so it's kind of hard to go and dictate what the control is because it's a mouse. But yeah, I do. I like it a whole lot. SNK did a really bang-up job with this. The console versions of it, I really didn't like nearly as much. They didn't look as good, they didn't sound as good. So if you're going to play anything, play the original arcade version on MAME, because it's pretty awesome. And that pretty much wraps up this review. So, to all of my fans, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on!